Yeah, hello, and welcome to another day. And I just want to talk about something briefly today. And I want us to demystify God. And when I say God, I'm not talking about the Father, okay? I'm talking about the race. I'm speaking about the race that is called God. Because, the church has bastardized our understanding so much that when we speak and we say the word God, we think of an individual, and all of that. No, but God is not an individual. God is a race. The word, when you hear the word God, you're speaking about a race, a superior race that created the race called man. That's the truth. That is the race that created man. That race is called God. So in Genesis chapter 1, okay, verse 26, when it says, "Let us make man in our image," that is the race called God. They are speaking amongst themselves and they say, "Oh, let's make man in our image and later in our likeness." In Christ, men are being made in the likeness of God. And when I say in the likeness of God, I'm not speaking about in the likeness of the Father. No. In the likeness of the race called God. In Christ, we are being made in that likeness because that's what we become. In our resurrection, we become part of that race. We become God. You understand? But then the church has bastardized our minds. They bastardized our understanding. So in our minds, when we hear the word God, we think of an individual. And I don't blame people anyway, and neither do I blame the church. Why? Because Yahweh, that bastard, Yahweh has always been the one saying, "No, I am God and there is no one else." No, Yahweh is not even God. He's not of that race called God. Yahweh is of the race called the cherubim. That's his race. Yahweh, he's got four faces. Four faces. His main face is the face of a cow. That's Yahweh's main face. And then he's got the face of an eagle, the face of a man, and then the face of a lion. And his feet is also the feet of a cow. And he's got six wings with eyes all over the body. And that's why in the occult in this world, and occult just means hidden anyway. In those who worship Yahweh, the practice, I'm not talking about, when I say those who worship Yahweh, I'm not talking about the Jews now because those ones don't even know anything anyway. I'm talking about those who practice the dark arts. Those ones, when you see images of Baphomet everywhere and all of that, you see that it's a goat head with hoofs and wings. That's Yahweh. That's the truth. And that's the image of a cherubim. And there's nothing wrong with having that image, but it's just that that's the race that they were created as. Yahweh is not of the race called God. No. Yahweh is of the race called the cherubim. Okay? And then, of course, there is also the race called the seraphim and every other thing. But my point, let's talk about mankind now being created in the image of the race called God. When it says in Genesis, it says, "Let us make man," Genesis chapter 1, verse 26 says, "Let us make man in our image. Later, we'll make them in our likeness." Us, that's what it says. It does not say, "Oh, let me make man." No, that's not what it says. Why? Because, I smile. What I just want to tell you guys, see, I'm smiling because the English language limits us, in our ability to communicate our thoughts. But if you guys go and study, I know the Spirit will help you understand better. What I'm trying to tell you is this: see, just as man is a race and man is male and female, even so God is a race and God is male and female. That's the truth. Nothing more, nothing less. God is a race. So when you hear that it says that there is the Most High God, the Father is the Most High God. Why is He the Most High God? It's just like in this world. Let's say let's any country, and then there's a president in the country. That's the Most High authority in that country, right? That sort of thing. So the Father is the Most High God amongst all God. The Father is the Most High. Elohim, the Father is the Most High Elohim. He is the ruler of all God. So his name is not God. His name, it's his species. That's what it is. The word God is like man, but it's just that this is a superior race compared to man, compared to the race of man. That's just what it is. Nothing more, nothing less. I would not have you guys ignorant. That's the truth. When you die and leave this world, you will find out that what I'm telling you right now is the truth. But if you will be diligent enough to go and study, you will understand it now. You won't need to find out when you leave here. You will know it before you even leave here. Man was made in the image of God. Okay? And God, like I said, God is not an individual. It is Yahweh, that bastard that keeps putting himself, says he postulates himself and says, I am God and there is no one else. Complete rubbish. Forget about that. The church has taught us so much rubbish. Wash your mind. Forget about that. The truth is this. We were made in the image of God. And when I say in the image of God, God is not one person. We were made in the image of God, male and female. Why? Because there is a father and there is a mother. That's why it is male and female. And then we have the priest, Melchizedek, who is also a God. Hebrews 7:1-3 shows us this person is without beginning of days nor end of life. He is of that race that is called God. God is not a title. God is a race. You can say it's the name of a race, just like man is the name of this race. We are here. We are all man. There is the male man and there is the female man. The female man, we call them women, right? That's the same thing with God. There is the male God and there is the female God. I'm not talking about the cherubim, which is Yahweh's race. I'm not talking about the seraphim and any of that. No, I'm talking about the race now that is called God. The Father, okay, he's a male God. I'm not saying he is the male God. No. Take note of the words I'm saying. I said he is a male God, but he is the Most High God. I don't know. I just hope that you guys will be able to understand what I'm trying to tell you. But the Father is the Most High God. Okay? And Jesus today in heaven, after his resurrection, he became a God. Yeah, Jesus became of that race. And every single one of us who believe in him, as long as we follow his path, we will also be raised up as part of that race. We will no longer be man. The Son of Man will become God. That's true. The Son of Man will become God. Nothing more, nothing less. So that's what we become in the resurrection. We become God in the resurrection. What does it say? I have said, you are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High God. Psalm 82 from verse 6. That's what we become in the resurrection. And even now, that's what we are by virtue of the Spirit that we have received from the Father through Jesus. So what am I trying to tell you? I don't want you ignorant, okay? I want you guys to understand that, see, the Father is the Most High God, but that is his race. Being God is not him being an individual and he's God, like Yahweh will postulate and say, oh, I am God and there is no one else. That's complete rubbish. Throw it out of the window. You understand? The Father is of the race that is called God, but he is the Most High God. Don't forget that. And I'm glad that, yes, at least we can see now, when we study the books, we can see that his own priest is also God. His own priest is without beginning of days nor end of life, just as written in Hebrews chapter 7, verse 1-3. We can see in the book of Revelation, it says, round about the throne of the Father there are 24 other thrones, and seated on them are 24 older people. You understand? These people, facially, they look older than the Father, but they are all God. They are all of that race that is called God. So God is not one individual, like Yahweh would say, oh, I am God and there is no one else. No, he just lowers our minds. He shuts our minds. He puts a yoke on our minds and tries to close us there with that rubbish. No, we've broken beyond that. We've gone beyond that. You understand? So like I'm telling you guys today, and I want you to go and study, God is a race. That's the truth. God is not one individual, the Father, oh, I am God. No, it's not a title. No, it's a name of a race. Just like man is the name of this race of us here on earth. You understand? And there's the male man, there's the female man. The female man, we call them women. That's the same way there's the male God and there's the female God. Okay? But the ruling authority there, we call that one the Father. That's the Most High God. And there is also a mother. And then there's the priest. And then there's Jesus. And then there's 24 elders. and then there are so many others. But then these are all of the race called God. God is not a title. God is the name of a race. Is the title of a race. Okay, it's not, the Father is not saying God. You are not talking about the Father as him being God alone. No, God is just his race. That's just what it is. Nothing more, nothing less. If you doubt me, no problem. Keep doubting. When you die and leave this world, you find out that I was right. That's the truth. I have nothing to lose, you know. So anyway, I just thought I'd put that out there because, like I said, the English language does not permit us to talk about it. But I had actually done a video before this, but I don't know why there was no sound, and that was a bit longer, so it's fine. That's why I'm doing this again. But what I'm just trying to say is this, huh? In your mind, I want you to start to think right. In your mind, God is not an individual. God is a race, is the title of a race. And in that race, there are different individuals there. And Yahweh is not a part of that race. No, Yahweh is not. Yahweh is of the race called the cherubim. That's it. And the cherubim and the seraphim, they're actually different, the same race, but then the cherubim is the male version, and the seraphim is the female version of that race. But let's keep that aside. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the race called God. You understand? Man was made in the image and in the likeness after that race. So just as there are so many men and there are so many women, okay, just like the male man, the female man, so many of us, it's the same thing. The male God, the female God, so many of them. But the Most High, there's one that rules. There's one that's the highest God. That is the one that we refer to as the Father. Go and think about it. Maybe to help you. Ciao. Bye-bye.